Okay, in this video, I want to talk about why investing is a stupid decision for most people, why real estate won't make you rich, how ideas are the new oil that anyone can tap, how digital real estate will be referenced 20 years from now as the method this generation used to generate wealth, why the creator economy is the new economy and will probably be the path you go down if you want to generate new riches, and exactly what kind of digital real estate to build, how to build it, and in what order. I have been dedicated to entrepreneurship for most of my life because it wasn't that hard to see that business was an infinite game, that if I continued to iterate, I would eventually see some form of success. If other people were doing it and new people were making money in some way, I could do it too. I understood from an early age that business and not making money was a skill issue, and that if I just practiced and built my skills, eventually I could make some money. Even if it wasn't that much, I'd be happy with that. What I wasn't okay with is easily observable within society. I don't know how more people don't see this. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people forget about it by the time they actually get into it. But when you watch TV as a kid or when you watch a movie, you can see the repetitive life that people go through. Like the movie WALL-E, where people are in the lounge chairs just being drip fed soda and watching TV all day. I don't know how much of an impression that left on me as a kid, but it wasn't difficult to see that that's not a life I want to live. And I could look around and make connections where I see people in the grocery store, I see people at their job, I see people doing things that they don't want to do. They just went about life and rolled around like a tumbleweed into this career and relationship and lifestyle in general that they don't really care about. So I saw that and I'm like, why would I want to do that at all? And because of that, literally the only other option was to become an entrepreneur and start some form of business. No matter how much I failed, at least there would be some form of meaning in that failure and in that lifestyle. It would at least not be boring. But with starting a business, just like everyone else who starts a business, I had no idea where to start. And the only options that I knew of were the options that my parents told me to do. But when I was starting a business or thinking about starting a business, I had no idea where to start, like most people. And the only options that I knew about were the options that my parents told me about, or just the options that were accessible to the general public. The first was investing. My mom was always adamant about starting investing early so that I could have a retirement fund that I pull money out of. She always encouraged me to invest a few dollars here and there and try to enforce this good habit in me, but I just never saw how it was a good thing. I always saw it as like a scarce thing, a thing that me investing the few dollars I have was like living in a mindset that I didn't bet on myself to make more than that sooner. I didn't bet on myself to make my retirement funds worth of money, what that would be early on in life. Why would I live in a scarcity mindset, investing the last of my hard-earned money just to make a few million by the time my life is nearly over, when I can start my own business for close to $0 thanks to the internet and make a few million in profit as one person over the course of 2 to 4 years? Then, once I had more than enough money to invest, I could turn that into 10 million in the stock market or with crypto. Then the second option was real estate. This was always on my parents' mind of like, oh, you'll have to get into real estate because that's what all the rich people do. And I've been seeing a lot of videos online where this kid, this TikToker or YouTube shorter, goes around and he asks people, how did you get rich? He sees someone driving like a Mercedes and is like, how do you get rich? And when they post these videos, like a lot of people I've been seeing, they post compilations of these shorts or reels or TikToks, and the caption is, they're all saying the same thing. So you watch it thinking, oh, I'm gonna figure out the key to getting rich, and it's no secret. All of them say real estate. Now, I don't deny that real estate is a great option for people to go down if they have money to invest in real estate, but most people don't. They can't do a rental property. Sure, there might be some way around that. They can do fixer-uppers, I don't know. I don't know that space. All I know is that physical space is becoming more of a premium than digital space because digital space is more affordable, easily created, etc. Physical space is very scarce. So I have the philosophy of build in the digital, invest in the physical. So for the absolute beginners that are still indoctrinated with their parents' ideology of investing a few dollars here and there in the stock market, hoping that they'll make $1 million by the time they turn 40, you don't have the money to invest in real estate. And you probably shouldn't be investing in the stock market anyways. You should be investing in your skill acquisition and education that allows you to make millions that you can then invest in real estate and the stock market. My point is this: most people don't know what to do to generate new wealth. But I would argue that you do know because you're looking at it right now. But you still have the consume and save mindset that limits how you perceive the gold rush that is happening right in front of you. All new fortunes are being built in the digital space. Now, before we begin, Mental Monetization has recently launched just last week. This is my new product on how to monetize your creative work. So if you want to learn how to create a digital product, which is the highest form of leverage and allows you to either get out of client work or avoid client work altogether, because when I started freelancing, I didn't realize that I was going from one boss to 10 bosses, and a lot of creatives have no idea how to monetize. Some don't even know how to monetize with freelancing. So check it out, link in the description if you want to grab that. Let's transition and let's talk about how ideas are the new oil and how to play the infinite digital game. You get paid for your ideas, not your looks. You get paid for your mind, not your time. You get paid for the infinite, not the finite. We're at a critical moment in history. The impact of artificial intelligence is threatening the livelihood of specialists. In the animal kingdom, the main cause of extinction is over-specialization. So think of a long-beaked bird that mates itself into its own demise because it needs the long beak in order to find food, but then only the long beaks survive, so they mate together, and then only longer and longer beaks are created, and so they can't fly because the beak's too heavy, and then the young can't get food because their beak isn't long enough yet. They overspecialize and they die because they are restricted to a specific environment. So the same holds true for people that have overspecialized for such a long time and their extinction has finally come. I can make other connections and examples related to overspecialization, but in short, humans are supposed to be generalists. We are the beings that build tools so that we can be generalists. Like if we can't hunt for food, then we build a tool that allows us to hunt for food. So the time has come where work has centralized and is now decentralizing because that's just a pattern in nature. Things centralize, then they decentralize. It's a cycle, it's a wave. It happened throughout evolution. Computers and technology are hyper specialists. They are the things that solve specific problems and perform a repeatable set of tasks. So people are afraid that they're going to lose their jobs, and massive layoffs are happening here and there wherever at certain companies, and people aren't fulfilled in the jobs anyway, which seeps into other areas of their lives, which affects their motivation to do anything about it. Young people don't know what path to take that will generate wealth when the physical routes of oil and real estate are being exhausted and require vast resources to get into in the first place. In short, the one thing that's on people's minds are the resources for survival. In today's world, that means money and wealth generation. So I want you to understand this next statement as it's nothing new. What made the last generation rich won't make you rich. All new wealth is being generated in the digital space, the idea space. The new rich aren't extracting finite physical resources. They're synthesizing the infinite resource called ideas. The physical world has its limits. It's costly, it takes a lot of time for houses to be built, products to be shipped, and communication to be spread. Why are good ideas so important? Because execution is more accessible than ever. There are a lot of people in the older generation, especially startup people, that say how much more important execution is than the idea, where everyone can have an idea, but if they can't execute on it, then they don't generate wealth. Well, execution is readily accessible today. Ideas are also readily accessible today, but it's not about the quantity of ideas, it's about the quality of ideas and being able to expand your mind, develop yourself, and solve an actual problem with your execution. So we live in a world where the quality of ideas, distribution of ideas, and iteration on ideas lead to a rich life. The digital world has no limits, especially as we continue to outsource specialized tasks to AI. You can become top 10% in any skill or interest with focused study on the internet. You can build a one-person business as a creator, which we often forget that this wasn't a possibility just a few years ago. Now almost anyone can do it. If they can't, skill issue. I haven't heard this as much as I thought I would because I feel like it's actually pretty understandable and possible, but an objection that I think people could have around this is, but Dan, not everyone can be a creator. But if you zoom out and think about it, yes, they can, and they are. Your ancestors were creators or entrepreneurs. They served a specific role within the tribe that they were in, and now that the tribe has expanded to be digital and global, and the way we communicate and the way we interact is social media. So social media is less about being an app on your phone and more about being a large tribe or community, or just finding your tribe or community within the global social media and it being easier to find that tribe and more profitable to find that tribe because you can fulfill a specific need with the product or service that you create and attract people to the ideas that you distribute. You don't need 1 million followers. You need 500, maybe 1,000 true fans, that entire concept. The other objection there is like, oh, what about mega corporations and being employed? I don't see employment going away, but I do see work decentralizing a bit more than it already is. And when corporate companies are having their executives and their leaders and their employees start posting on social media, become creators to add to the authority of the company, you can see where I'm going here, where creators that grow larger and larger will have creators under them as contractors working for them. And corporations are also hiring more contractors. Work is just going more remote, more contract based. And it just makes sense that this is where work is going when AI and technology are making it more resourceful for large companies to do this and for individuals to do this. Idea workers thrive in the digital age. Digital real estate can be built at zero cost. Digital products can be built and distributed at low marginal cost. Digital communication can reach anyone with an internet connection. The digital society, also called the creator economy at times, is where new fortunes are being created. So let's talk about how to actually navigate this digital gold rush. Now, there's a common piece of advice that goes around online, especially in the business space, that I think is quite narrow and dumb. Build something offline, then start online. In other words, people don't realize that social media is a perfectly viable way to start a business in today's world. And I would argue that it is the best way for beginners to start because 1, you don't need experience. 2, you learn skills along the way. What people don't realize with this whole one-person business thing or creator thing, you literally just build a profile and the success of your profile is dependent on you learning really the only business skills that you need to know in order to see success. You need to learn some form of design. You need to learn writing. You need to learn marketing. You need to learn sales. You need to learn branding. You need to learn product. You need to learn distribution. And you learn these things along the way. It's like you start with writing on social media to build your audience so you get traffic or an audience. Then you build a product. Then you learn promotions. You learn copywriting. You learn sales page. You learn how to build a web page, etc., etc. Becoming a creator is like guiding your learning in the most effective way possible towards the skills that are going to make you the most money. And I don't think it's wise to go through the pain and suffering of building like a brick and mortar business or even an e-commerce business in today's world when you can just build a personal brand and have the highest form of leverage there is out there right now, and then use your audience and the cash flow you're generating to start whatever business you want, whether that be physical, e-commerce, software, whatever it may be. By not starting your personal brand and writing online, you're shooting yourself in the foot going into the future. And the thing with that is the advice where it's like build offline, then go online, then start on social media. The businesses that you start offline should probably be on social media either way. So why not just do it under a personal brand, and then your personal brand becomes business agnostic. You can launch different services, different products. You can launch whatever you want under your own name as businesses of their own. Now, of course, I recommend thinking for yourself, not taking my advice as law, trying things out for yourself, failing. I'm just presenting an argument here that probably makes sense to you. And if it doesn't make sense to you, good, go do what you were gonna do, and I'm sure you'll do great with it. What I don't recommend doing is accepting someone's outdated business ideology as law and thinking that that's the best way of going about things. In other words, I recommend choosing the problem you want to solve and the solution you want to provide. I don't even recommend starting a business. I recommend treating any skill you learn, any problem you solve, and any solution you create as value that can be given to other people as your life's work. What I'm talking about is improving yourself, improving your personal and professional development, or however you would phrase that. And you being online and documenting that journey is a quote unquote business just because you're pursuing a good life and you're talking about it. And that's how you earn an income. So let's break down the digital society first, because you need to understand the society before you can build the real estate. It's difficult to argue against creating content no matter your beliefs about the future. Creators are the forefront of large company reputations. Founders and executives have personal brands like Elon. Creators get first pick at good jobs because they prove their value in content. Creators work for other creators to gain experience and leverage. Creators are the first people companies come to as sponsors to spread their product to niche markets. Creators are the only accounts consumers actively follow for human connection, not memes or company updates. Think about that. The only accounts you really follow where you're learning something or you're improving yourself, not just distracting yourself or hurting your life even more, are creators. that theme page or that company page are practically useless distractions online. Unless you're following them for like updates or just a laugh here and there, but you have to understand the purpose behind that account, and it's not value. Being a creator is not some fancy internet job. It's a new way of life, and I only see it becoming more and more relevant. In actuality, I highly recommend against becoming a quote-unquote creator. I just recommend attracting a community, improving yourself, acquiring new skills, and distributing value. You know, the things that are already keys to the good life in the physical world, but are amplified to infinity with the digital world. A one-person creator business is just an ideological way to bring clarity to your efforts. An easier way of saying that is it's just a way for you to make better decisions and learn how to do these things. It's a way to guide your skill acquisition, learning, and building. So the first step here is to become a niche of one or to create your personal monopoly. Traditional education and hyper-specialization is a way to make people subservient to the dominant paradigm/system. Study the generalized principles of nature and become a deep specialist. That's a quote from Daniel Schmachtenberger. And we've already discussed this in my video, The Age of the Generalist and the Most Profitable Niche is You, and the anti-niche and all of those niche down videos. Niching down is terrible advice. All those videos is where I talk about not over-specializing, because niching down is a great way to increase competition, not decrease it. It's also a great way to be a slave to your client or someone that you don't like working with. And it's also great at not being able to adapt to technology as it continues to evolve. So let me try to make my philosophy simple. When I say don't niche down, I'm saying don't niche down in the traditional sense where people are like, choose a skill and just go as far down as you can go and target this audience like 40-year-old soccer moms that love to drink Kool-Aid on the side of the game while their children are playing, and then they drive a minivan home. Like, I understand the value in that, maybe for paid ads where you can literally type that demographic in and target them, but on social media where spreading your content is random, that's only gonna shoot yourself in the foot, and you're gonna be angry when you can't get any reach, you can't attract people in that niche, and you're gonna be forced to broaden up anyways. So first thing to do is think about what you are trying to achieve in your life. Second thing is write down the interests and skills you've learned to help you get there. Third is attract others who are trying to achieve the same goal in their life. Fourth is use your combination of interests and skills as a way to make yourself unique. This is the definition of a generalist. A person who pursues a goal and learns multiple interests or skills in order to achieve it. In other words, what are you trying to do with your life? What are you learning along the way? And how can you pass down what you learn to other people? That's literally your niche. Go and look at most big creators, and actually quite a few small creators that are still making good money. That's what they're doing. Now, most people want the same thing out of life. They want more money, less insecurity, more sex, less loneliness, more purpose, less chaos, and so on. We're all heading towards the same end goal, so it's obvious what your niche is. Your niche is self-actualization. Ding, 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 oh my God, we found the answer. Everyone's niche is self-actualization, and that's actually the case. If you are a value creator, not an influencer or a theme page or a company account or whatever it may be, if you are a person that is trying to pursue their life's work, your niche is self-actualization. What makes you unique are the curiosities, the interests, and the skills that you learn along the way and the experience you gain along the way that you can pass down to other people. Because that's unique to everyone, because we're all already pursuing the same thing. You're gonna be like, Dan, well, what if everyone goes down the same path? That's not how it is. You're already going down that path. I'm trying to achieve financial freedom. You're trying to achieve financial freedom. You're trying to achieve health. He's trying to achieve health. If they aren't, they're distracted and they have someone else's goals implanted in their minds, because your nature doesn't want to destroy itself. You, the true you, doesn't want to destroy itself. If you aren't actively pursuing health, wealth, relationships, happiness, then you are distracted by a line of code that someone else put in your mind. So if we're all pursuing the same thing, if I'm pursuing financial freedom, I can go the creator route, or the creator is more of a meta thing, right? Because creator is just like a way of being rather than a specific job title, because you create your own job title under it. So writing is my way of achieving financial freedom. Yours could be budgeting, and you doing that as a creator is perfectly reasonable. Other people could do an e-commerce business. Other people could do whatever. I chose writing. For health, I like training every single day. Other people, they make an income selling a bunch of different programs and nutrition advice and whatever it may be. Elon Musk is building rockets to expand humanity to Mars so we can actualize as a species. When you really dig into it, every single business or brand that is actually providing some form of value, because true value equals transformation and problem solving, their niche is self-actualization. So if we both pursue financial freedom, which we are, the 50,000 tweets that we write or the 1,000 videos that we create, are gonna be different just because we're different people. You are an experience vessel. You become a niche of one when you pass down that experience for others to utilize. Okay, we got that out of the way. Let's talk about your digital real estate portfolio. How many people occupy the digital real estate you build determines your success in the new gold rush. Now, there are two types of digital real estate here. First is free, which is a way to attract and build an audience with content, a newsletter, and free products. The second is paid, so how to monetize the free real estate you've built with digital products. So let's walk through what you should be building, why it matters, and the progression to do so. First thing to do is write daily content on social media. The biggest problem that I see in general is that people are focusing on the wrong things. If you haven't already watched my video called Change Your Life in 365 Hours, I would highly recommend doing that because I break down the 3 forms of leverage. The problem is that most people don't focus on high leverage tasks. They don't focus on the things that are going to get the most results. So in that video, I talk about using 1 hour of your day because most people don't have 8 to 12 hours a day to change their life. They have 1 hour, so I teach them how to focus on the thing that is the highest leverage, and I talk about audience and products related to social media. So people do the wrong things. When they're supposed to find customers, they build a website. When they're supposed to attract an audience, they build a product. When they're supposed to be doing literally anything else, they're filing for an LLC and creating a logo. This lack of prioritization screams that you have no idea what you're doing. And by that, I don't mean that you don't know what an LLC is or you don't know how to do taxes. Like, those are just confusing. I get that. What I'm saying is, you don't understand how to make money. You don't understand that in order to make money, an LLC isn't gonna help you. Like, thinking about your taxes isn't gonna help you. Building a product or service and getting people to buy that product or service by writing content or building an audience, those are what you're supposed to be doing. Then, once you make 50,000, think about starting an LLC. So the first piece of the puzzle is people who want to pay you. You need those people. You need customers, AKA an audience. Why an audience? Because I'm assuming you're like me and want leverage. You don't want to create a second 9 to 5 with client work. That's freelancing or agency work. You want to create whatever you want. You want to control the time in your day. You want to make sales while you sleep. The most accessible way to do this in today's world is by building an audience on social media. That's where the attention is. That's new media, decentralized media. Not everyone could have their own radio show in the past. Not everyone could have their own TV channel. I was actually thinking about this a lot today, is how many channels do people have on their TV, or did they have on their TV? It's like 300, right? It's insane how information was so narrow and how almost every single person, at least in the US, probably way more than that, only had access to 300 channels of information that they watch for hours per day that shapes their identity and what they see as a potential for their future and what they can do with their lives. So yes, this is why I'm passionate about the creator economy as a way to actually change society, because there are thousands upon thousands of creators, and it's a good thing if that is happening because it allows people to choose what they learn, how they learn it, and it creates a more optimal environment for everyone in terms of just the value that people can provide through these different media channels. So to start, you want to create content on one platform until you've got the hang of growth down. So here are your first content ideas. Tell your story and the transformation you've made. Break down any of your skills and interests. Teach people how to do them. Talk about problems people face when pursuing their goals and how to solve them. Document lessons you've learned while pursuing your goals, and share ideas you've come across and want to make your own from books, conversations, or podcasts. Start there. Or just do it like most people do it, is look at, you change your mindset from consumer to creator. Hey, I want to become a creator. Okay, study the 10 accounts that you follow and enjoy and want to become like, and become an amalgamation of all of them. Take little pieces from them all. Study, okay, why did this piece of content do well? Why does this product sell? Why is this profile picture so good looking? What are their best ideas and how can I write my own version of them? Because if those ones went viral and I take that and put my own spin on it, then that goes viral and I grow, ta-da. Another thing is that the 10 accounts that you choose, you have to study what they were doing at the beginning. You need to go back into their archives and figure out, okay, were they writing these single sentences that get so much engagement now, or were they giving actual value and doing things differently in the past? Because a lot of people copy what big creators are doing now, but they don't see what actually got them to that spot because they don't take the time to do that. Social media is a skill, not random luck. People always think it's about luck or magic when they haven't spent even 1 hour studying the skill. Now, time for a shameless plug. My exact system that I use to write newsletters, write threads, write content, and disperse it across all platforms is called 2 Hour Writer. It's a course I sell. It's $150. Buy it or don't, it's in the description. Step number 2 is to deplatform your audience with a newsletter, because one, I've been saying that social media is decentralized media, and it is to an extent. These things come in degrees, right? There's radio, which is like a few channels. There's mass media, there's the news. That's very centralized. Social media, yes, it's owned by larger companies, and the narrative is controlled to an extent, but if you follow certain people, you usually see their content, so it's more decentralized because you're following different channels of information. But if you want full control over your audience, then you need to provide value on a newsletter and get them onto your newsletter, because you can download the email list at any time and take it anywhere with you. So most social media content is broad, beginner level content that attracts people to who you are, what you do, and it's usually aspirational, valuable to a beginner level, and then your newsletter is a bit more advanced than that. So if you understand the 5 levels of awareness in marketing, you understand that level 0 is not aware, then problem aware, then solution aware, then product aware, then most aware, you're usually targeting levels 0 through 3 on social media, and then let's say 2 through 5 on the newsletter, because you still have to cater to some kind of a beginner level. Think of it as a funnel of beginner to advanced. Your newsletter is where you give away deeper insights and monetize by promoting your products, because you're providing more value there, and it makes sense to provide or promote a product or service when you are doing that. Step number 3 is to build a free product to establish authority. So far, we've created free social media content, which is little, let's say, plants, like digital real estate, occasionally building those. Newsletters are bigger, and those can be repurposed into YouTube videos. This video right now is a newsletter that I wrote last week. They can be repurposed into threads or podcasts or whatever it is. My videos get uploaded to a podcast platform so people can watch if they don't want, people can listen if they don't want to watch. So we're building digital real estate to build an audience. Now is time to build authority and then build a revenue stream. So you're probably wondering, if you have studied business at all, how do I make money if I don't niche down? Think of your social media as the first layer of your business, like a funnel like we just talked about. You attract a broad audience around a desirable goal, then build authority with a free product that gives away valuable advice for a specific skill or interest. From there, you can lead them into a product around that same topic. So, broad content, then more specific free product to establish authority, then paid digital product, then create more free products to keep things fresh and keep sales flowing. The free product is a lead magnet. People who download it are added to your email list, and your lead magnet serves a few more purposes. The first is customer creation. Your job is to educate your audience to the point of becoming customers for your other products. This one goes over most people's heads and they don't understand it. This isn't direct response marketing. This isn't paid ads. This is social media. Your content and your free products are literally educating your customers to become customers. They're educating your audience to become customers. I teach writing. That means on social media, I need to talk about the importance of writing, talk about the mindset of changing your life, talk about how to just improve your life in general. And then I present writing as a way to do that, and people like it because it ticks all the boxes in terms of benefits for their life. The second thing is writing what you want. When you have a lead magnet, all of your authoritative information on one subject is in one place. You don't have to worry about writing about it so much on the timeline. You must plug your lead magnet often in your content so that you maintain that authority. If I create a lead magnet on writing, I have one on the One Person Business, you can download it. I also have a planner for productivity. But if I create one on writing, then I can talk about meditation. I can be like, meditation is such a great thing. Or in my next video, I'm gonna talk about the power of long walks. And I can introduce writing and be like, oh, if you want to use your walks as a way to generate ideas for your writing, I teach writing, download my free product. And then that educates people on the free product. Your lead magnets are a more niche audience. And the more you create, the more niche audiences you create within your own audience. So social media, first layer, free products, second layer of more niche audiences. And then your products and the customers of those are more, that's another niche list of people who have bought that product. So on social media, you may not have a specific niche. You are the niche on the timeline, but your free products and your paid products have audiences within themselves of the customer list of that are more niche. The thing here is that when you create multiple free products, you substantially increase your authority. You teach people on a deeper level. They like you more, they engage with you more, they start conversations in your DMs, they feel like you're contributing more value than others. In other words, your engagement probably sucks because you've never taken your audience deeper than social media. Mark Manson and James Clear don't need to worry about optimizing their content because so many people have bought and read their books. People have spent hours with their ideas. So if you don't have a newsletter, you don't have a lead magnet, you don't have a product, you probably don't have that much authority and you're gonna become this like high engagement account with little to show for it. So if you don't know what to create, just study what other people have created. Create templates, checklists, swipe files, or the rest, but I personally like creating free products that help your audience achieve one small desirable goal with a mini course or ebook. Step number 4 is to monetize with a portfolio of digital products because you've already built ample digital real estate. And you could technically monetize your social media already. That's one important thing about building an audience is that you're almost guaranteed to make money in one way or another. You can accept sponsorships, you can have like YouTube ad revenue or whatever it is. You can start a paid newsletter, you can start a paid tier of your content. But most of those aren't optimal or even profitable ways of going about it. When people do that, that's when you hear stories of people that have millions of followers but only make like $10,000 a month. As an example, I actually talk about this in the mental monetization course that just went live, is that when I monetized with Reels on Instagram, I had viral animations. That's what built my entire audience. I made like $400 in a month. Same with X monetization, Twitter monetization. They just rolled that out. Everyone's freaking out over it. And it's like, dude, like with a huge audience, I make like $400 a month. On YouTube, I make a bit more. It's like, I don't think I'm allowed to say it. It's a lot more than that. With digital products, I've made upwards of 6 million now in the few years that I've been doing this. And 4 million of those happened last year. And just this past month, it's like 300,000. So in terms of scale, digital product, build one if you want to control your own income. But I'm not a fan of building 1 to 2 digital products and just calling it a day because I'm a fan of iteration and evolution. And if you only create one and that product sucks and it's not your full potential, then you're just going to be okay with however much you make from that one product. I am a fan of making success and income almost guaranteed by continuously launching, improving, and iterating until you have the perfect combination of digital products that create a high base income. Then you can monetize with micro products like workshops or events where you charge a low price for 1 to 2 calls and launch every 1 to 2 months to see predictable spikes in revenue on top of your base income. Of course, I teach that all in mental monetization. Last time I'll pitch it. Step 5 is to diversify platforms and focus on audience because we have social media content going, we have newsletter content going, the audience is growing, we're building authority with the free products, all of these being digital real estate. We build the digital product, we iterate on them, we have a good base revenue. Base income. You've probably replaced your income by now. Now, when we diversify platforms and focus on building an audience, what we're trying to do is we're trying to send more traffic to the digital products so that your income can just scale. And then all you have to do is focus on building the audience and doing what you enjoy and talking about what you enjoy on social media. That's what I plan to do until the day I die, just because I enjoy it. When you've established your business in the digital space and are profitable, now you can take all of your best content ideas and spread them to other platforms. You can kickstart those audiences on a podcast, YouTube, or Instagram by telling your current audience to follow you there and to share your content. Since you already have an audience on the platform that you chose, I recommend X or Twitter or LinkedIn or probably Threads just because they're all writing based and that's much more accessible and easier to get into. Then, once I build the audience, I have a set of ideas that do really well. This is exactly how I grew on Instagram. I grew on Twitter, and then I look back at my best ideas. I maybe had 100, 200 of them. That's 200 posts I can post on Instagram, and if I execute a growth strategy from there that I teach into our writer or mental monetization, either one, then I grow that much faster because those ideas, those pieces of content are the ones that brought in the most engagement and followers on Twitter, so they're gonna do the same on Instagram, and I don't have to go through that same trial and error. Because if only 300 or 400 posts do really well out of the 40,000 that I wrote on Twitter, then I'm gonna wanna transfer those over to Instagram. As all of your platforms grow, they download your free products, they read your newsletters and purchase your paid products, this is when exponential growth kicks in. You can double, triple, or even quadruple your income in the span of a year. That's how I went from $800,000 a year with a large X following to 4 million last year with a diversified audience. That's it, that's the big picture. You have direction now. You know what to do. Don't ask me how to start. We talked about how to start. If I wasn't as detailed as you wanted me to be, then you need to just go study. This is a YouTube video, go watch more. But either way, on a positive note, Thank you for watching. Check out links in the description. Buy my book, The Art of Focus, if you haven't already. Like, subscribe. That's it. Just go look, whatever. Yeah. Bye.